guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm Rosie of Rose Greenery. I am a plantita from Quezon City, Philippines. Welcome to my second episode of Meet My Plant Wednesdays. And today I want you guys to meet one of my most attractive houseplants. This is the Caladium Humboldtii, or the mini white.
Wow!
She's part of the family of Caladium, which are tropical plants. She has heart-shaped leaves and with a bright green color with a splash of white markings. So far, she's the smallest Caladium plant I've ever seen. I would consider her a rare find since I've never seen any plant tuber from US or Europe who has this houseplant. She looks like a dwarf version of Caladium White Christmas, except that her green color is more visible. Disclaimer guys, I'm not a plant expert nor an expert on her species, but I'm just describing her to you based from my experience. Her petiole or leaf stalk reminds me of the Oxalis triangularis or the shamrock plant. She has slender petiole or leaf stalk, and when the leaves tend to get bigger, it kind of drip down or bend like it's unable to carry its weight. Just like the shamrock plant, the leaves dry out fast, but it regularly gives you new leaves. And from what I've noticed about this beautiful plant, her leaves have a short lifespan. Like each leaf only lives about a few weeks or so. Well, they dry out fast, but continues to grow new leaves all the time. Well, I got this plant last October for about 100 or 150 pesos. I didn't know anything about this plant that time. That's how she looked like the first time I saw her. I couldn't get away from not bringing her home because of her beautiful foliage. When I saw her, she looked like she needed a rescue as most of her leaves looked really droopy and sad. I thought they just needed water, but the leaves really never stayed upright. Well, the longer the leaf stalks and the bigger the leaves, the more they would bend down. A lot of plant moms and dads find this plant a bit hard to take care of. So I'm gonna share with you how I managed to keep this plant happy and alive. She's up in our shaded roof deck, and I have her in a bright area up in that shelf. She gets about half an hour to an hour of morning sun. With our weather here in the Philippines, you don't want to put her in direct sunlight after 9 a.m. as her foliage easily get burned. If you'll notice, she is facing in one direction as she tends to grow towards the sunlight. If I regularly rotate this plant, she'd probably be all over the place. And I am happy with how she looks like now, as she doesn't take up too much space in that shelf. I keep her just above my humidifier, and I have never watered her directly into the crown as I find them extremely delicate. So I only do a bottom watering by having a small plate with pebbles, which I refill with water almost every day. Yes, every day. She is always thirsty and she's a heavy drinker. After 24 hours, I always find her plate dry because she is that waterholic. But if I keep her indoors, she'd probably go for another 2 to 3 days without refilling the water. So I keep her moist, or should I say close to a wet soil. Although sometimes it takes me more than a day or two before I check back on my plants up in our roof deck, and she was still okay. But there was one time when I didn't refill her plate with water for almost 3 days. And I found her really looking sad, like most of her leaves are already reaching out for the floor. So I gave her water right away, and I noticed that her plate dried up fast after a few hours, and her leaves went back up right to their normal position. And to be honest, I panicked that day. I thought I'd lose the title of, the few parents who managed to keep her alive. If you are not sure on how to tell if your medium is moist, I would recommend you getting a moisture meter. If you have one, keep the moisture level in the middle or in the green side. I have never repotted this plant before. She's still on her nursery pot with lots of holes for drainage, which allows her to drink up as much as she wants. And her medium is just the same with other caladiums, just a normal potting mix, and they require well-draining soil. Although this plant was thriving on me, there was one big mistake I did on her. I tried putting Osmocote on her last month just because I want her leaves to be bigger and give me more babies. I didn't even bother checking how much nitrogen or phosphorus or potassium it has. And just after a few days, I noticed that a lot of its leaves turned yellow, which is not normal. There were too much dead leaves on her that time. And I have read that if you use high nitrogen fertilizers, you also increase the soil's mineral salt. And excessive nitrogen takes away water from the plant, leaving the salts behind, which will cause the leaves to dry up due to dehydration. And I think that's what happened to her, because the fertilizer I gave her had 18 nitrogen, and it was just too strong for her. And based on my research about caladiums, you can fertilize them once a month using a 5-10-10 fertilizer, meaning 5 nitrogen, 10 phosphorus, 10 potassium. Caladiums in general are toxic if ingested, and you also don't want this near to your pets because, as you could see, it's really delicate and sensitive. You could propagate this plant through division, simply just by separating bulbs from the mother plant. You could either put it first in water and wait for it to develop roots, or put it directly to soil if it has already enough roots. Just make sure to keep the soil moist. For now, I don't have any plans of repotting her or putting her in a bigger pot. I don't want her to go through another stressful situation after that fertilizer incident. That was really stupid. So yeah, that's all I have to share about this beautiful plant. I hope you guys find this video helpful. And if you have any other experience about taking care of this plant, comment below, let me know. If you guys have any questions about this plant, I'd be happy to answer them for you. And if you like this video, please hit on like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so you won't miss any future episodes. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, yours!